Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. These are my brief player ratings. So I do apologise. I don't quite know why the camera's cropped. StreamYard are doing all sorts of funny things at the moment. But these are my player ratings for Everton to Crystal Palace 1. So let's get straight to it. Jordan Pickford in goal. Finally realised he can come off his line to claim a cross. Had to do that a few times today. And of course couldn't do anything about that first goal. Wasn't particularly tested by Crystal Palace. I don't think Palace had a lot of clear-cut chances which called for Jordan's action, but he did everything you'd expect. A couple of erratic moments where his decision-making coming out from the back was whether to play long or play short, or it's kind of being aware of a situation was wrong, but generally quite assured in that defence. Came off his line to claim a couple of times and was a lot more steady than normal. So I'm going to give Jordan a 6 today. And let's move on to, we'll start in the defence. We'll start with Mikalenko, who we thought was poor. Nothing going forward from him as usual. And defensively, I thought he was caught out more than one occasion. Beaten for pace. Wasn't particularly solid at the back post. Losing a lot of duels, particularly late on to Crystal Palace's right winger. So I can only give Vitaly Mikalenko a 5, unfortunately. Moving on across, though, to Jared Branthwaite returning back into that defence. He was slightly quiet in that first half, just finding his feet, wasn't particularly aggressive or tenacious or really showing that sort of Jared Branthwaite quality. It's a little bit slow to get going, but once he found his feet 30-40 minutes into the game, and certainly in that second half, he was very composed, and he added another dimension to that Everton backline, one that can excuse me, mop up the play, deal with the balls in behind, win the headers, win the duels, get his foot stuck in, and I thought he was brilliant. So I'm going to give Jared a 7. And James Tarkowski alongside Branthwaite today, he was better alongside Branthwaite. I think those two are a better partnership, and he looked more of his usual self. The first half, I'd say not so much. It was poor from him, but certainly in that second half, he was in control of the situation and what he needed to do, and he looked a lot more composed. But he's had a poor season. This was a bit better, so I'll give him a 6. And at right back, Ashley Young didn't do an awful lot wrong, but again in that first half, wasteful in the ball, giving the ball away, passing it when it wasn't on, and not really reading the situation defensively and getting his foot in. Didn't get booked. The ref didn't want to book anyone today unless it was for time wasting or kicking the ball away. So Ashley Young, I'm going to give him a 5.5/6. I think he was okay, but the fullbacks for Everton today were certainly the weakest of the two, weaker of the back four, certainly. Into midfield, then again, game with two halves. Mangala steady in that midfield, but really, I think collectively in that first half, that entire midfield five was stood off Crystal Palace, showed them too much respect, and they weren't anywhere near it. So if you were giving a first half performance for someone like Mangala, it would be a 4 or a 5, possibly more like a 4. Same with Decore, he was even worse in that first half. He'd be a 3. But there was some recovery from Mangala. I don't think he played particularly well. I'm going to give him a 5.5. And Decore, I'm going to give him a 5. Went through one-on-one late in the game and really struggled for, say, 75 minutes to influence himself and get the tackles in and really link the play. I thought he was poor, Decore, and I was surprised he stayed on the pitch. So that midfield pair disappointed me, really. And Decore should have scored late on to cap off a poor performance. On the left, Indai, again, this guy needs to be treasured. This guy is superb. His ability to hold on to the ball when it's played into him, to carry the ball, to find space, to dribble, to knit the play. He's got everything. All he needs is a left back bombing on behind him and someone else to link with, because he's playing a level above all of his teammates at the moment. So I'm going to give him a 7. I would have given him more, but there wasn't quite that top end product with him today. It was more just his overall performance was solid, and he helped Everton alleviate pressure and worked hard defensively. On the other side, then Jesper Lindstrom, who started the game, he was really poor, kept giving the ball away, and was getting beaten in all the duels and really struggling in that first half. And he came off at half time. His performance probably a 4. But in all honesty, him, Mikalenko, Mangala, Decore, and Calvert-Lewin and Young, and even DCL, Sorry, and even McNeil in that first half were really bad. And you can argue that if it was just on the first half, there'd be so many threes and fours being dished out. But yeah, Lindstrom off at half time for Jack Harrison. I'll come to Jack in a moment. But up front, McNeil in his new role, number 10, 3 goals, 2 assists a season in the league, doing really well in that position, despite his limited capabilities with only his left foot. But first half, missed a header, should have scored, was really slow and sluggish on the ball, taking too many touches. So on the first half performance, again, he'd be getting a 3 or a 4. Thought he was poor. But came out in that second half, got a world-class goal, reminiscent of the one he scored for Burnley at Everton, and a neat finish at the back post from a Jack Harrison cross. So Dwight McNeil, overall with his 2 goals, is going to get an 8.5/9. 2 goals from midfield for Dwight McNeil. Calvert-Lewin today was one of the weaker players on the pitch. Didn't think he was winning any of the duels. Was in and out of the game. Really, to be honest, he was pretty poor. Didn't get any chances. Didn't put himself about. Didn't bully the defenders. Didn't hold the ball up. Touch was off. Please tell me my mic is working. Is my mic working? Because I've been speaking for 7.5 minutes. It should be working. Someone just confirm, because I'm not continuing if it's not working. Hello, testing 1 2. Oh, Craigo, why are you saying that, mate? Because you just knocked me off my feet there. Don't like that. Yeah, McNeil, where was I? Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin lost his duels, didn't hold the ball up, touch was poor, falling over, second best, not reading situations, getting beaten first of the ball, didn't get in the right opportunities, was shite. Calvert-Lewin, 4. I don't even think he deserves a 4. I thought he was really bad, and he was slow, and he was sluggish, and he was just a really bad performance. So, Craig, why don't you turn your sound up, because everyone else can hear me? And then, okay, substitutions had to be done. Jack Harrison, who I'm not a fan of, I'll be honest with you, he got the assist and worked hard, but there wasn't a lot else from Jack apart from endeavour. A little bit of Premier League experience did him some favours, though. So I'll give him a 6/6.5 because he did get that assist for the McNeil goal. And then I can't really think of any other substitutions. Garner came on late. I think they were too slow, those substitutions. And they were giving away a lot of fouls and didn't really get themselves into the game. So I'll just give them a 6, I suppose. So overall, there were some poor performances in there from Mikalenko, from Decore, from Lindstrom, DCL. There were some good performances from Ndai, Branthwaite, and then there were some decent, okay performances from the likes of Mangala. Sorry, I think I'm getting a bit of cough. Tarkovsky and Young, I suppose. Sean Dyche, then, just before I wrap things up, Sean Dyche, the team wasn't balanced to start off with. Crystal Palace had 4v2 in that midfield area. They were having their forwards drop into that midfield and just outnumber us. And he was too slow to react with the tactical change. Left it. We could have been 2-3-0 down at half time because of the control Palace had on it. So Dyche, first half, bad selection in that midfield, wasn't balanced enough, or players didn't follow his instructions, or it was just tactically inept. So I gave him a 3. And then I don't know what he said to them at halftime, but he certainly did get a rocket up the backside and read the right act out. And it was a lot more intensity, aggression, composure, a willingness to make something happen. So you can argue whatever he said at halftime, redeemed him, got them to turn it around. So overall, with the first and second half balancing themselves out, you give Sean Dyche a 6.5. But it was one of Everton's, aside from the result, it was a bad performance. And we've played worse this season and won. We've played worse this season and better this season and lost. Got mixed up there. Anyway, if you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. Just going to briefly look through some of the comments here. I miss saying people are quick to jump on the Dyche train, and Palace are shite. Dat Boy thinks Dyche was terrible with subs, brought on Harrison and made a difference. Yeah, it's a difficult one. He did bring on Harrison at halftime, who did get an assist and make the difference, even though he's not particularly good. And Yeah, I just think he was too slow to bring on Garner, and Garner once Decore and Mangala really lost control of that midfield, and McNeil tired, so he's a bit slow. And also the first sort of setup of the team for me wasn't great. Tactically, it was poor. Peter says results like this shouldn't buy Dyche any time at all. They are results we expect from our squad of players. They're good enough to get results against teams like Palace under any manager. Thank you so much to Peter. I'm gonna love and leave you guys. I've got to go to work now. But if you haven't already watched it, make sure you watch Stevie and Basil's post-match reaction, which came at the full-time whistle and is well worth watching. Until next time, see you soon.